Hello and welcome back. Welcome to another update on the Porsche 911 3.7. This one will be about an incident that happened recently, well last month now. Something broke basically, and I managed to catch it sort of spectacularly breaking on film, which I'll show you that footage in a second. But let me just explain what led up to what you're about to see. Basically, I was on the way out somewhere on a early Saturday morning. I must have got about 50 metres down the road when the check engine light came on the dashboard and it was like blinking at first. So I immediately spun the car around. I did notice, by the way, as well, that the car or the engine was like really juddery under load, so I knew that something wasn't right. So yeah, I spun the car around, U-turn, took it straight back home, just plonked it in its parking spot and shut the engine off. By the time I'd pulled back into the parking spot, the check engine light had gone from like flashing to being solid. But because I was on the way out somewhere, I was meeting someone, I couldn't spend time then like troubleshooting it or anything like that. So what I did, I went back in the house, put the keys to the Porsche away, grabbed the keys to the Jag, and as I was walking out to the Jag, I noticed that there was some smoke coming from the engine compartment of the Porsche. So at that point, I grabbed a fire extinguisher and my phone. I just filmed what happened next, basically. The hell? So there you go. I mean, all very concerning. There was quite a lot of smoke. It didn't actually develop into a fire. I couldn't immediately see where the smoke was coming from. None of it was coming out of the exhaust or anything like that. It was coming from the engine bay itself. It stopped smoking in the end on its own. I think I might have disconnected the battery at that point. Yeah, a couple of days went by before I'd actually get the time to look into what the hell's going on. Yeah, I jacked the car up in the air. I was like looking around. I couldn't see anything at all. I was like really confused. And I don't know why I didn't think to check this initially, but I thought, hang on a minute, it's probably the ignition coils. And of course I couldn't see those because they've got the shields on. And yeah, sure enough, I took the shields off, and I think it's on that side of the engine, it's cylinder number 5, the one in the middle. The coil pack was just completely, like, it was a complete mess. Well, in fact, I've got it here. So that's what it looked like. So not good. And also, like, yeah, more disturbing than that was, I knew because of the amount of smoke generated, it wouldn't just be the coil that was damaged. So yeah, next thing I did was I took all the coils off just to see like what was going on with them all, see if any more were affected by this weird incident. None of the other ones were, it's just the one. And then I started to look at what other damage this had caused, and that's when I noticed that the connector for number 5, and I'll put some pictures on, see it more clearly, but I mean that is just, it's completely frazzled. And in fact the middle wire is just completely, the insulation's completely gone. That had completely melted and disappeared. Oh, and the boot as well, the boot that goes over this, it might look okay, but it's all kind of frazzled and crispy on the inside, and that was ruined as well. So then I had coils, engine loom damage, yeah, all this. It wasn't looking that great. What I did, I thought, well, I'm gonna need 6 new coils. I'll do the spark plugs as well. And then it's like, well, what do I do with that? What do I do with the wiring damage and all the rest of it? What I decided to do in the end, well, 2 things. I purchased a second-hand 3.4 wiring loom, so I can use that if if at some point down the line the engine has to come out again for major work, I can just say, oh, put this harness on as well while you're there. I'm not going to do that now with the engine in situ. It looks a little bit too tricky to me. So what I did is, in addition to purchasing a 3.4 loom, I bought a damaged loom from a 2.5 Boxster, which was like, 20-30 quid or something. I then took one of these from the Boxster, repinned it, and put some connectors on the end so I could connect it to my loom, and that's what I've gone for. So I've basically just repaired the kind of that cylinder's ignition wire. And the thing is, like, these coils, like the reason why, obviously I've had so much work done to my engine, but the reason why I didn't request 6 new coils at the time was because, as you can see, these are the upgraded 997 Beru coils. They're already upgraded. Looking at the service history, that was done in 2016. So these were about 8 years old or something like that. And it looks like what's happened is, I don't know if you can make out, but there's a crack. There's a crack there. And it looks to be all that's happened is there's a crack there, moisture's got in, but yeah, it's just turned these wires into like a welder basically, and it's just completely melted everything. I've just replaced them like for like. So yeah, anyway, so where were we? So 6 plugs, 6 coils, the wiring harness repair. Went to start the engine again after I'd done all that, and it wouldn't start. Now by that point the engine had been, the car had been off the road for about a month, just because of time and just like trying to assess all the damage and buying all the parts I needed and all that kind of stuff. Rather than immediately jumping on and trying to diagnose why it wouldn't start now, I thought, well, I'll just carry on cranking just to build oil pressure. So I thought that might be a good idea, so I did that. And then I looked at why the car wasn't starting, because it was cranking fine. I then just went through the car with my electrical tester, and sure enough, found a blown fuse, and it was the ignition fuse, which makes complete sense. So I whacked a new 30 amp fuse in there for the ignition and crossed my fingers and went to start the car. So is it fixed? And the answer is, of course, yeah, it's all right. So that incident happened back in February, and in March it was due a service. So basically, while I was mucking around with the spark plugs and all that stuff, I did also change the oil and the oil filter. So this whole kind of incident turned into a full service as well, basically. So it's had its 2024 service, ready for another year of, fingers crossed, trouble-free motoring. And we'll just say, just quickly, right, if anyone says, and if anyone tries to tell you that changing spark plugs on these is difficult, just absolute nonsense. I mean, I couldn't believe how easy it was. I mean, I don't know if there's any 997s that are difficult, or maybe it's the turbos that are difficult, I don't know. But you hear of people like having to take the bumpers off, having to take exhausts off because everything's in the way. And it's just like, on this, nothing's in the way at all. You need a wobbly extension thing, and I'll put a link in the description for one of those. But otherwise, just normal tools. Yeah, it's like, it doesn't even take that long. It's really easy. So that was a surprise. In terms of what happens next, I think this is due a gearbox service, and I want to replace the anti-roll bars as well. Not because they're not doing a good job or anything like that, but like when I recently I noticed the front anti-roll bar is quite badly corroded, to the point where it sort of interferes with how the bushes fit. It's a bit weird, but so I'm going to look at going to look at what anti-roll bar options are available for this, I think. But apart from that, I don't think there's much else to do. The suspension has been really good. I'm also really appreciating the suppleness as well. The roads around here are so bad. I don't think I could have had a harsher suspension setup. So actually, you know, the decision to keep it kind of MO29 spec, I think this is I think is a good one. And I don't know if I've got off lightly with what happened and the kind of damage that it caused and all the rest of it, or if I've, you know, you could look at it the other way and say, you know, I've never seen a coil pack do that. I've never seen a coil pack fail and cause collateral damage like that ever. So I don't know if I'm lucky or unlucky. I don't know. But either way, the car is absolutely fine. So yeah, all's well that ends well, I guess. And I'm hoping to do another video soon. I know I always say this, but yeah, I will do a more in-depth review of this car soon on some nice roads. And yeah, I'll be giving my kind of closing thoughts on, you know, how I feel about the car now in its current form. But for now, again, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, drop a like, and I will see you for the next one. See you later.